What's up, Saints fans? Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and on today's show, we're going to be breaking down 3 receivers that New Orleans can go out and trade for. I saw an article that was trending on the internet, and let's face it, one of the top trending topics right now is that there's a lot of injuries at the Saints camp, especially around Michael Thomas, and this team could use another top receiver. So the order that you guys are going to see is not my personal order. It was the order released by the article out there in terms of the 3 wide receivers that they personally would trade for. So at number 3, Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Schuster signed with Pittsburgh on a 1-year, $8 million deal this offseason, but he's probably the biggest name on this list, and he's probably the 3rd receiver on his team. So in 2020, he had 97 grabs for 831 yards, 8.6 average. I'm not going to blame that on Juju. I'm going to blame that on Big Ben not being able to throw the football. Also 9 touchdowns. But if you're Pittsburgh, the contract that's probably the easiest to move on from at the wide receiver position, because you have Chase Claypool, because you have Deontay Johnson, is actually Juju. So if you did want to be able to move on from somebody, it could make a little bit of sense. The next name is actually somebody that, well, you all know very, very well. It's Brandin Cooks right now with the Houston Texans. Cooks started with the New Orleans Saints, then he went over to New England, then he went to the Rams, and now he's with Houston. I mean, he's been bouncing all over the place. But he's actually coming off a pretty solid year on a team that, let's just face it, they were bad. 81 catches, 1,150 yards, 6 touchdowns. He was the top option there. I would be curious to see how Cooks would fit in this offense now, because what made him so dynamic with Breeze was Cooks can run all these different routes. The injuries, they've been piling up, but he is still only 27 years old, so I thought it was a halfway decent name to throw out there. The last name that was mentioned in this article was DJ CHARK, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you look at a lot of the players on this roster for Jacksonville, CHARK's probably the top guy there, though. Young player Laviska Shenault, who was coming out of, I believe, Colorado. He's been making a lot of buzz in the preseason, and he's been looking good in training camp as well. Last season, CHARK had 53 grabs, 706 yards, and 5 touchdowns. The biggest reason here why I believe that CHARK was the number 1 player listed in terms of the 3 guys to go out and trade for, he's the cheapest one. He's by far the cheapest in overall value that I have to go out, and he's the cheapest player in terms of overall cost. And he's also really big and fits more of this bigger outside receiving type of role, because a lot of the receivers that I think have been playing well for New Orleans are a little bit undersized. So at 6'4", 200 pounds. Also, he's from LSU, so you go ahead and bring him back to Louisiana. But out of those 3 wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster, Brandin Cooks, DJ CHARK. Obviously, again, we are talking about this because of some of the injury, all the trade rumors to Michael Thomas. What happens if they do move on from him? I like Tre'Quan Smith, but he can't be your number 1 guy. So if you had to pick one receiver out of the 3 that I mentioned, who would you go out and trade for? If there's a name that I missed that's not on this list, seriously, let me know down in the comments. So if you believe we should go out and trade for Juju, type JJ. If you're going to go with Brandin Cooks, go ahead and type before Christ, or DJ CHARK, type DJ.